Well, howdy and hello, everybody. It's a somewhat windy day, so forgive me if the audio goes a little... But what can I do about it? What can I do about it? As if you've been paying attention to the channel at all, you've been noticing that I've been making a lot of videos talking about how the liberals have abandoned us, because they have. So if this is your first time seeing me talk about this, short form, the liberals have abandoned us. It's very obvious. They've cut the CRB. They don't give a shit about climate change, right? They're lying to us about reducing emissions while increasing emissions by policy. They're complete frauds. If you are continuing to vote liberal, if you are continuing to support that party, you are either completely deluded or complicit in your own destruction. And as the reality of that abandonment is beginning to settle in, to me and to the populace and to everybody, we're being confronted by the seriousness of the mental illnesses and the mental damage that this is inflicting on the populace. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. A recent poll showed that 2 out of 3 Canadians have anxiety about inflation. That inflation is, the corporate power structure is at least admitting it's at 4.4%. It's probably much higher than that. The House of Commons and the Parliament and everybody is saying prices are going up, prices are going up, prices are going up. And what is anybody doing about it? Oh, it's nothing. And it's because they know that it's a global phenomenon. It's because they know that the global capitalist structure is failing. They know that it's collapsing. What they call the Great Reset is coming. And we are reverting into, if we haven't already reverted into, a form of techno-feudalism. I've been calling it neo-feudalism, but I listened to former Greek finance minister Yanis. Of course I'm forgetting his last name, but he called it techno-feudalism and argued for that. I like that term, techno-feudalism, because it's exactly what's going to happen. We're all going to be working for a small group of people who might as well be kings and princes with the billions of dollars that they have at their access. Did you know Bill Gates is the largest farmer in America? They're buying up land, they're buying up property, so when the currency becomes valueless, which is exactly the process that we're experiencing, they'll own everything, and we'll all work for them. And it'll be a form of feudalism once more. Only with iPhones. Feudalism with iPhones. Won't that be fun? Won't that be fun? And of course, this is manifesting itself into something called the Great Resignation, because the wages that the capitalists are paying don't even pay the bills any longer, because the rent has gone up, housing has gone up, cost of living has gone up, food has gone up, everything's gone up, and the wages, because of inflation, have actually gone down. Doug Ford's recent raising of the minimum wage to $15 an hour is an obvious election ploy to convince gullible rubes that he actually cares. Andrew Horvath nailed him by saying, Doug Ford had said people are doing cartwheels today because of the increase of the minimum wage. Andrew Horvath says, yeah, they're doing cartwheels right down to the food bank. Food banks of Canada, of course, spiking, homelessness spiking, due to the abandonment of the populace by the Liberal Party and the premiers across Canada as well. The abandonment is full scale, it's complete, and how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that? I know for myself, to bring it down to a personal level, I spend a lot of time asleep in bed. Depression is real. It's something that's very difficult to get through and get over. I have people who come into my live stream. I live stream 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday. And I've got people coming in there almost daily now telling me that they are about to experience homelessness, that they know someone who is about to experience homelessness, that the entire structure around them is falling apart. And the anxiety and the depression that this brings, the difficulty that we as the populace are having with reckoning the reality that we are being abandoned wholesale to a man, to a man, to a woman, to a child. We are being abandoned. And the sadness and the apathy and the anxiety and the calcification that this brings with it, the uncertainty that comes with this. And it seems as though the populace, their way of dealing with this mental health crisis that is right in front of us, is to just keep doing what we're doing. Maybe if we just keep doing what we're doing, it'll fix itself. Maybe if we just continue getting into these gas guzzling, carbon emitting tanks that drive us to jobs that we hate, so that we'll never see our loved ones, so that we'll never spend time with the people we care about. We won't see our children grow up. Maybe if we just continue doing that process over and over and over and over and over again, the problem will resolve itself. Well, it won't. It won't. And I feel like we are in the first stage of grief, which is denial. And that many of us are finally getting out of that phase and getting into anger. That's the PPC, who is going to rise up and seize more and more power as the abandonment continues. And then will come the bargaining, and then will come the acceptance, and then will come the quest for meaning. Because eventually we will begin the process of trying to bargain. Oh, maybe, and some of us have. What do you think the fight for 15 always was? But we're starting to realize now, and we're starting to accept now, that there is no political force in Canada that is attempting to ameliorate any of this. They're not even trying. All they're trying to do is to convince you that they're trying. That's it. It's a form of WWE wrestling, is what it's become. That they'll all stand in front of us and talk crap at one another and throw each other against the ropes and jump off the top ring and do all kinds of dramatic stuff and so on and so forth. But when they go behind the curtain, they all shake each other's hands, say good show, and then they all get paid by the same person. What can we do? What can you do? What can be done about such a absurdist situation that the capitalist death cult has taken over, that all of our work, all of it, is being focused into dropping bombs around the world and heating up our planet to such a rate that it's already burning down towns. Global warming has already burnt down towns. Never forget the town of Lytton. And as these things are happening, each and every one of us are being told that, well, we need to solve these problems as individuals. Be done with that. That is actually the core of the mental health crisis, in my perspective. This idea that, oh, we all need to deal with it individually. And while we're being told that we as individual consumers need to deal with this on an individual level, we're also being told by the corporate power structure that we're all in this together. Funny how that works, isn't it? That when it comes to solving problems, it's up to you, but when it comes to keeping money, we're all in this together. Isn't that interesting how that works? And so we're entering a phase in our nation's history where we must begin organizing together outside of the political system that has failed and abandoned us completely. Join organizations like Socialist Action. It's in the description, so socialistaction.ca. Join organizations that are actually attempting to solve this problem. Join organizations that are actually trying to help people. And stop listening to people who are pretending to help. Trudeau's pledge of net zero by 2050 is a farce. If you believe it, you're the stupidest person alive. They're not going to do anything to reduce housing costs because that would mean confronting the capitalist death cult. They're not going to do anything to give people the financing they need in order to actually secure food and shelter for themselves, because that would require confronting the capitalist death cult. And these things could be done, and they can be done. The alternative to actually standing up and fighting against these forces is to just continue falling into your mental illness, to just continue allowing the depression and the anxiety to take over. That's the alternative. Please come into my live stream, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a chat with me about this stuff. Are you talking to anybody about this? How often do you talk about this experience that you're having that is steadily becoming the common experience? How often do you actually cry into your cups? How often do you speak about the absurdities of what's going on in your life? Because the absurdities that are happening in your life are not unique to you. You are not an individual who is failing. You are a victim of a system that is designed to fail. And it's becoming obvious. And it's becoming more and more obvious. You've got to take care of your own mental health. And at this stage in the game, the only way that you can take care of your mental health is by fighting back. Please like, share, subscribe. Consider donating to my Patreon. Even $1 helps. Good luck. We're gonna need it.